Alright, let me ask you something straight off the bat. Have you ever seen a player come into a club with sky-high expectations and you're simultaneously excited and a bit nervous? Because that's exactly what's happening with Hugo Ekitike at Liverpool right now.
Hat jetzt die Torchance. Ekitike!
Liverpool spent an initial £69 million on this guy, with add-ons that could push it up to £79 million. Serious cash, enough to buy a small island, a fleet of cars, or enough beers at Anfield to keep the entire cop happy for a season. Okay, maybe not that much. So, naturally, the big question on everyone's lips is he worth it? Is Hugo Ekitike the game-changer Liverpool's attack desperately needs? Or is this a classic case of flashy potential that might never hit the heights? Let's be honest, when Liverpool signed Ekitike from Eintracht Frankfurt, people's reactions ranged from "wow, this is huge" to "wait, who?" If you've been scratching your head wondering how this relatively low-profile French forward suddenly commands the same transfer fee as some of Europe's biggest stars, you're not alone. This isn't your typical instant superstar signing like Mbappe or Haaland. It's more of a calculated gamble on raw talent with a high ceiling but also a few glaring question marks. Here's everything you need to know about Hugo Ekitike, his Bundesliga stats, how he fits into Arne Slot's Liverpool tactics, and whether he's really the upgrade the Reds have been hunting for. Let's start with the cold hard stats from last season. Playing in the Bundesliga with Eintracht Frankfurt, Ekitike put up some numbers that say, hey, there's something here. Over 33 games, he scored 15 goals and racked up 8 assists. That's a pretty solid haul, especially for a 23-year-old adopting to one of Europe's top leagues. When you break it down, he averaged about 0.52 goals per 90 minutes, basically scoring once every other game. Sounds good, right? But here's where it gets tricky. His shot conversion rate, the percentage of shots that actually find the back of the net, it was only 12.8%. Now, this figure usually excludes penalties, which is important context because penalties tend to inflate conversion rates. Over his entire career, across 239 shots, Ekitike has actually slightly overperformed his expected goals, XG, meaning he scored a bit more than the quality of chances suggested he would. But for that Bundesliga season specifically, his finishing was frustratingly off, a point we'll get into next. And if you think that's bad, Ekitike actually took more shots than any other player in the Bundesliga last season, a whopping 117 attempts, but only 43 of those were even on target. So, he's firing a lot, but the ball often isn't going where it needs to go. This mismatch between attempts and success tells a story. Ekitike's finishing needs work, and fast. To put the numbers in sharper focus, he underperformed his XG by about minus 8.09 goals during that season, one of the largest gaps in Europe's top 5 leagues. Some sources estimate it between minus 5.2 and minus 7.55 goals. So, he was actually creating or getting chances, but not finishing them at the rate the quality of those chances should have allowed. But it's not all bad news. One thing that stands out is how active he is inside the box. He averaged 7.2 touches in the opposition's penalty area per 90 minutes. That's more than Newcastle's Alexander Isak, who is often hailed as one of the best young forwards around, and he gets about 6.9 touches. Ekitike's positioning and movement are clearly excellent. He's always around danger zones, ready to pounce. It's like he's got a magnet for goal-scoring opportunities. The problem? Converting those chances. Now, switching gear to Liverpool's setup under Arne Slot, Liverpool aren't just looking for a classic goal poacher. They want a striker who's more than a finisher, someone who can link play, press defenders, and fit into a possession-based high-intensity system. Slot typically lines up his team in a flexible 4-2-3-1, which shifts fluidity depending on the phase of play. It demands a forward who's tactically aware, can carry the ball forward, and participate in build-up play, not just finish moves. Where does Ekitike fit? Pretty well, actually. He's shown he can create chances. He averaged 1.54 chances created per 90 last season, which puts him among the top Bundesliga strikers in terms of creativity. He's not just waiting for the ball in the box, he's actively involved in linking midfield and attack. Plus, his 44 progressive carries, carrying the ball forward into dangerous areas, per 90 minutes, highlights his ability to initiate transitions, which is a crucial part of Slot's game plan. However, Liverpool's system also demands high defensive work rate and pressing intensity. The striker isn't just a scorer, he's the first defender. Ekitike's work ethic and ability to press effectively will be under the microscope. Slot's teams don't tolerate slackers. If he can match the physical demands and positional discipline, Ekitike could become a perfect fit. Let's bring in some comparison, because that's how we really judge these guys. Alexander Isak is the obvious benchmark here. Playing for Newcastle, Isak is the finished article when it comes to converting chances. His 23 goals on 74 shots last season gave him a conversion rate of around 31.08%, nearly triple Ekitike's 12.8%. He's also slightly more productive, averaging 0.75 goals per 90, significantly higher than Ekitike's 0.52. But Ekitike isn't without his strengths. He outshined Isak in assists, 8 to Isak's 6, and wins more aerial duels, 46.2% success compared to Isak's 32.1%. Both players share pace and clever movement that often draws comparisons to Thierry Henry. Isak is your lethal finisher. Ekitike is your creative physical forward who can also challenge in the air. Then there's Florian Wirtz, the Leverkusen magician. Wirtz isn't a striker in the classic sense. He plays deeper as an attacking midfielder. He racked up 10 goals and 12 assists last season, producing a goal involvement per 90 minutes of 0.84, which beats Ekitike comfortably. Wirtz's pass accuracy, over 82%, shows his technical excellence and composure. For Liverpool, blending Ekitike's physicality and chance creation with Wirtz's finesse could be a potential combination. We can't talk about Ekitike without addressing the gigantic elephant in the room, his finishing. And I mean finishing, the thing strikers are most judged on. His shot selection can be a bit all over the place, with some speculative long-range attempts that fans and coaches cringe at. When you pay upwards of £69 million for a striker, you want clinical finishing, not hopeful punts. His offside frequency also raises eyebrows. With 0.66 offsides per 90, he often misjudges his timing, which can kill attacking momentum and frustrate teammates. But the good news? These are fixable issues. Finishing, timing, and composure under pressure often improve with experience and tailored coaching. Arne Slot's tactical system, with its patient build-up and emphasis on smart shot selection, could be just what Ekitike needs to calm down and become more clinical. It's not just about natural talent, it's about learning when to strike and when to pass. And Liverpool's attacking talent around him could help create higher quality chances that are easier to convert. Look, Liverpool didn't just buy Ekitike for goals, they bought him for the whole package. He's tall, strong, and fast, which adds a new dimension to Liverpool's front line. At 6'3", he can win aerial battles, hold up the ball, and cause chaos in crowded penalty areas. He's aggressive in front of goal too. 4.1 shots per 90 minutes shows he's not shy about taking chances. The hunger and willingness to shoot are great signs for a young striker who's still learning to be more precise. Liverpool's slow, controlled build-up play under Slot should also help him refine his finishing by creating better chances instead of forcing difficult ones. At the end of the day, Liverpool's investment in Ekitike is a high-stakes gamble. His massive XG, expected goals versus actual goals gap, suggests there are some mechanical or mental hurdles to overcome in the final third. And the Premier League is not a forgiving place for strikers who can't finish. The defenders are quicker, stronger, and more ruthless. But he's only 23. That's youth with room to grow and adapt. If Ekitike can iron out these finishing flaws and stay injury-free, he could be a generational talent that Liverpool's front line desperately needs. So, what's the final verdict? Ekitike is a fantastic mix of tantalizing promise and frustrating inconsistency.
Ekitike looking for Gina Rabimbe once more.
His creative skills, physicality, and positioning are top tier, but his finishing? That's a mountain he still needs to climb. Compared to Isak, he's got work to do. Compared to Wirtz, he plays a different role, but brings his own strengths. Liverpool, they're betting big that under Slot's system, Ekitike's raw talent will blossom into clinical excellence, and honestly, that's a gamble worth watching. So, keep your eyes peeled for number 9. He's got the tools, the platform, and the stage. Now it's all about putting it together, scoring goals, and making Anfield roar like never before. If he nails it, Liverpool fans might just get the bargain of the century. If not, well, we'll have plenty of memes and debates to keep the conversation alive for years.